what it means is that Taeng is actually coming as a winner of the last match because he won versus Bunny Muffins. And then Lifecoach lost versus Reynard. So Lifecoach is kind of facing the winner being a loser himself. Like normally, if there would be not that much of a difference in experience, I would say this gives a big edge to Taeng. But now it gives him a small edge against the amounts of experience that Lifecoach has. So I'm still giving it to Lifecoach, seriously.
Well, what I'm seeing here is how these matches line up and kind of going forward here. So we have Warlock, Druid, Paladin for Lifecoach, Paladin, Mage, Druid for Taeng. What matchups is he trying to avoid and which ones does he actually want? And the thing that I'm looking at is kind of historically trying to play a value game versus Lifecoach does not bode well for the player who's trying to outvalue him. And players who have tended to take aggressive stances, and we'll take a look at, Brainad's lineup, for instance. It's pretty aggressive, all things considered, especially versus what Lifecoach is trying to do. He put together a 3-1 victory over that. So if Taeng can end up being as aggressive as he wants to be versus Lifecoach's lineup, I think that's where he's going to find his win rate. So, I mean, that's another big key to it, too. The only matchup I think that he really, really wants to avoid is probably Paladin versus Paladin.
On the other hand, like Taeng's Paladin is aggressive with Corkhammer and Defender Vargas, and Lifecoach's Paladin is really, really slow with cards like Kill Fazad. So we've seen it before, Lifecoach playing versus, was it Lifecoach Reynard? I think we've seen a Paladin versus Paladin before where the aggressive Paladin was actually able to take the game.
Yeah, that was in Lifecoach's first match, I believe. Or you're talking about just a Paladin mirror in general, or are you talking about Lifecoach's Paladin?
I think it was Lifecoach's Paladin.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been. He definitely is. I mean, he's known for playing value cards. He's going to have stuff like Piloted Sky Golem in his Paladin. It just seems like he's been playing. He's the player I think who's played Piloted Sky Golem in competitive more than anyone else.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He loves the card. He definitely loves the card. Well, it gives him a lot of value, and it's a big card when you drop it on board.
Yeah.
But then there are many answers to it.
So pretty standard mulligan here for Taeng. Hanging on to Mech Warper and Mad Science. Oh, those are not strong replacements, though. There's a card that you typically never want to draw when you're playing Mech Mage, and it's Mirror Entity. It's like you just actually don't want to draw it.
It can still be worse. Also, like, right now he got a Clockwork Gnome, which is great. You can... Well, what do you actually do? Like, you can get the Mech Warper into Clockwork Gnome, or you can just go with the Coin Mad Scientist. But on the other hand, you don't want to get Mirror Entity that early. Look at Lifecoach's hand, by the way. Only spells, no minions. There is Nourish.
I'm going to be curious to see exactly what he does with his hand. How he's going to win with this. I would tend to say, just from looking at these hands, that Taeng actually has an advantage here. We're really going to think through this. I mean, so the disadvantage to playing Mad Scientist, obviously, is that you don't get Mech Warper on the board, and that you get one less minion. The advantage is, of course, that you're going to be able to use Mirror Entity when this Mad Scientist dies more often, but you already have a Mirror Entity in your hand.
If you go with the Mech Warper and Clockwork Gnome, you're not only getting a spare part, and you're kind of playing around Wild Growth. Like, if there is a Wild Growth, you deal more damage. If there is no Wild Growth, then the Clockwork will die. But then if you get a Spider Tank on the next turn, you will be able to play it for 2 mana.
Yeah, I mean, all your draws really, really depend on this, too. No matter what, you're going to have a 2-drop next turn, and I think that's the bigger point of this. And what he should be thinking, I mean, I agree with this player right here. I think what he should be considering most is which one of these plays deals the most damage.
Yeah, this is definitely the play that deals the most damage.
Yep.
And he has the follow-up to it with the Mad Scientist. Well, Lifecoach's hand, I can only say it's well nourished because there's nothing else. Like, he can raft the 2/3. Not really. I wouldn't waste a swipe here. I wouldn't like to use Innervate as well because you might need it to tend to your curve. If you get a 5-drop, you might even want to, like, next turn Innervate and Nourish.
I think Wrathing here is by far his best play.
That's essential for sure.
On turn 3, I mean, he's going to have a lot of options moving forward, and a big one is going to be Innervate for Nourish. But this is also setting up a turn 4 swipe really cleanly after your opponent's played potentially something like Spider Tank.
Right now I'm looking at Lifecoach's hand, and I only see this BGH. And I'm looking at Taeng's hand, and I see Mirror Entity and Mad Scientist, that's potentially another Mirror Entity. So this might decide the whole match. Do we know if Lifecoach is playing Kazan Mystic? Because I know he did in the past.
I'm not going to count it out of the question, but it doesn't, like, Kazan Mystic does not really strike me as a very Lifecoach card. It wouldn't surprise me to see it in here, but we know he has 2 copies of Big Game Hunter. And so I wouldn't expect it to be in here alongside those. Maybe when you've trimmed one or the other. A bigger question is going to be, does he have something like Zombie Chow to fight against Mirror Entity? That's a really big way to do that. Just going to Nurse here. He's going to go for the mana crystals too.
That's actually amazing because next turn he'll have 6 points of mana, so whatever he draws, he will almost be able to play it. Like Piloted Sky Golem next turn, if he gets it. And he has that Such Voucher.
You know, Mirror Entity is actually a really weird play here too, because if your opponent kills your Mad Scientist, you just don't get the other Mirror Entity.
But on the other hand, how are they going to do it? Are they going to like play Keeper of the... What would you expect? Like Keeper of the Grove? Or maybe Druid of the Claw as charge? Like, whatever they play, you get a mirror anyway. Like, you get a minion from the Mirror Entity.
Yeah, but you're losing the second Mirror Entity. That's what's making it awkward. Like, you're losing some sort of value on this.
You're losing some value, but...
I mean, I don't mind playing the Mirror Entity because of that, because it is going to throw off your opponent's curve. And that's really the bigger purpose of Mirror Entity, I think, is to kind of play a disruption tool. But I don't mind Clockwork Gnome and something like Armor Plating it, just to keep it from getting hero power. I don't mind stuff like that. Again, the disruption is probably worth it, especially since you just saw Lifecoach play Innervate Nourish for 2 mana crystals. Yeah. It's really indicative of the fact that he's got something to ramp into his hand, and he draws Wild Growth, which has got to be one of the worst draws in his deck right now.
Yeah, this turn will be Big Game Hunter. That's not hunting anything. And then, whoa. Do you even Wild Growth? Or like looking at the 4 cards you have in your hand, do you just keep Wild Growth for a draw? You know that you are going to be able to draw a card from it in 4 turns. This is really weird. Like, both players have hands that are not that great. Like, looking at Taeng, he needs to top deck something to be able to play on turn 4.
Mirror is he really bringing a lot of pressure into this match.
It's always very good versus Druids. And especially versus Lifecoach playing a super greedy deck. I'm not sure if he's playing Zombie Chows, because sometimes you can just give the Zombie Chow to your opponent and you'll be like, all right, I Zombie Chow and then my 5-drop and I'm good.
You know, with this swipe in hand, I really just don't mind playing like Wild Growth and hero powering down this Mad Scientist and really trying to deny the second Mirror Entity before it ends up being a factor. Because again, he has 6 mana crystals, but Taeng is going into 4 mana. Like, now he's going to have 8 going into his turn after Taeng has 4. It's so very easy for him to draw something, pop the Mirror Entity, and then swipe to deny.
Oh, he got a second Mirror Entity.
Oh my gosh, that's like the worst draw in the deck.
Yeah, you can't even play
Both of these players have drawn back-to-back really bad cards.
Well, the fun fact is that if Lifecoach would go with BGH, then Taeng would be able to play that Mirror Entity. And the Clockwork. With this, he can just play the Clockwork and ping face. Do you really use armor plating on a Clockwork? Normally I wouldn't because of the Antonidas.
Well, now I don't think you do, because your opponent's already committed to hero powering on the Mad Scientist, and so at this point the hero power is basically overloaded. There's no reason to use the armor plating. Before it was so your opponent didn't have an option to hero power was the purpose of it, but now you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, you can always turn as a Fireball if you get Antonidas as well. In case if you get like a Time Rewinder from the Clockwork Gnome. Alright, so Lifecoach facing those small minions. And the Mirror Entity double swipe, what is this?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think in a game this slow, in terms of the pace of aggression being held here, you have to give an advantage to Lifecoach, because he's going to be hitting his 9 and 10 before his opponent's hitting their 6 and 7.
Normally I would, but then Taeng has Azure Drake next turn, which will be a powerful card, and there is this Mirror Entity that's going to grant him a minion. So
no, I don't see this being a problem. He just plays Big Game Hunter and then swipes. And his opponent gets another Mirror Entity off this, and he just I guess that's that's actually. This is a big problem now, because he wants to swipe before he plays the Big Game Hunter, because he's very unaware of the fact that Taeng has drawn this Mirror Entity.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
It is, especially because you are facing that one Mirror Entity, and you don't want to face another one.
So if Lifecoach actually, if he gets relatively greedy here, it ends up paying off for him in spades.
Lifecoach will be so surprised when there is no Mirror Entity. Well, he'll immediately know.
I think this is the play he's got to make anyway, and just kind of hope that he draws a minion that isn't too great for his opponent. Because imagine if he just swipes here and then doesn't pop the Mirror Entity.
Look at his face. Look at his face. He knows.
Oh, yeah.
He knows exactly.
Wow. That is, I mean, that's like a major fist pump moment for him.
Oh, definitely.
And Taeng is just in such bad shape after this.
Well, he will need to play the Mirror Entity and Frostbolt, I guess, because just playing this Outer Drake into a 4-2 doesn't do much. And the good thing for Taeng is that Lifecoach only has 2 cards in hand. And if Taeng develops a Mirror Entity, if he plays it, he knows that Lifecoach was really agonizing before playing it at PGH.
It's an important draw.
Lifecoach just needs the draws, and he gets them. Ancient of Lore is the perfect card.
Well, sort of. I mean, he gives his opponent a 5/5 if he plays it.
No, he doesn't play it this turn. Like this turn, you play Sludge Belcher because
Do you not play? I mean, I don't mind playing the 5/5 this turn. Again, the game has been so slow that do you even care that it's getting checked? I think that drawing the cards is just totally fine.
Oh, there is an Innervid as well. All right, that's not bad. He was able to replenish a couple of cards.
That's such an awkward spot. Mirror Entity is so good versus Druid.
It is, yes.
That's like a 7-mana Arcane Intellect.
But on the other hand, Lifecoach knows that double Mirror Entity is out of the way, and he has the 5/5. He has a couple of cards in hand. He will be able maybe to remove the board after this, and then Mech Mage is out of steam.
Yeah, the bigger tale of this is the mana difference. Lifecoach is going into 10 mana, as Taeng will be spending his 6-mana turn.
How do you play on your turn, though? You can possibly just use the Armor Plating now and make a great trade and play Paladin Shredder and Cogmaster. Or you can just go for face, but I don't think it's the time to go for face. I think you want to try to trade, especially because you've seen one swipe already. You've seen one Wrath, you've seen one swipe.
You think when you've seen Wrath and Swipe, it's time to trade? I think you should just be going for pressure.
If you attack for 5 and play Paladin Shredder and Cogmaster, what does that achieve?
Someone's out on me.
I don't hate it. I think it's like
Yeah.
a different line of play.
I really don't like this because this is like,
Oh, I don't like the stealth.
yeah, I don't like the stealth either. I would have played Cogmaster here first. as
Double
well.
force. Oh my god, he can double force face for 12.
What a massive amount of damage. Yeah, I don't like this. It's like, obviously we can see that he has a swipe in hand, but when your opponent has a swipe, you get so punished for it here. I actually don't even really like the trade. I would have favored the face damage because he's, like you said, he's running out of steam. He needs to take the damage on his opponent's face and then have his opponent trade with his minions instead of the other way around. Like, he's not getting a massively favorable trade here by any means, and he's out of steam. Like, he needs the extra damage.
I think the armor plating was correct, but then going for face was better, as you said.
Yeah, I 100%.
But you do still armor plating so that it doesn't trade 1-to-1.
Yeah, put your opponent in an awkward position, but the 5 extra damage is very relevant.
All right, so Taeng can draw a card. He has to get something good. But he is exactly that, out of steam. This mad scientist is not going to give him any secrets. We know that Taeng is not playing open cards.
Yeah, this is some pretty, really bad draws from Taeng, honestly. I mean, he started with Mad Scientist. He drew 2 mirror entities, and now he's drawn his other Mad Scientist.
Yeah, he had like an interesting start with Mech Warper coin into Mad Scientist, but then the mid game was dead. Like turn 3 and 4, nothing happened. Even though Lifecoach actually was ramping up, like Taeng didn't pressure at all. And right now, Lifecoach has all the means to stop the aggression here. Like Force of Nature trades with this easily, and
Yeah, he gets a shade on the board, and
it's all the tools.
it's pretty much going to do it.
The cards in Taeng's hand don't do anything. Like he needs Dr. Boom, he needs Antonidas, but he spent the spare cards. I wonder if he plays Ragnaros.
I would venture to say his Mech Mage does not play Ragnaros.
I would agree with you. But then like some players do add it.
Lifecoach really considering killing this Snow Checker with hero power in the 2/2 tree instead of killing the Sludge Belcher, so the Sludge Belcher can continue to attack.
I like it. It's not like he will be using the hero power much often. And Lifecoach is not threatened at all. Like, he is full health, almost like 21. And he has a taunt set up. He has that Shade of Noxtramus. So right now, Lifecoach is going to go card for card, and it looks good. This is not Dr. Boom.
Well, now not having now I'm being frozen on the hero power is minorly relevant here because of the second force nature. Curious what he really wants to draw to get in this game.
Oh, he really wanted to get Dr. Boom.
Yeah, Dr. Boom is pretty much the best draw in the deck. Really no question about it. Wait, would Force Nature have been better? 14, 20, it would have been 24. 24 total damage.
Savage Roar?
Force, I'm sorry, Savage Roar. Savage Roar is probably the second best draw. But I mean, Dr. Boom, this is just closing the game. Like, where on earth does Taeng find a win here?
Well, Taeng will have to get his own Dr. Boom, but even then, Lifecoach is such an advantage right now. And he still has a lot of cards. Like, is he running Kel'Thuzad in this list? Like, I've seen Kel'Thuzad in his Paladin deck.
Lifecoach just continuing to choke out all of his options here, too.
Oh man, this is tough. I'm not good, Sean.
Yeah.
It's so annoying to see at this moment.
This is where Druid really is, one of the shining decks is when you've gone card for card and you get to this end game and you have very powerful draws and your opponent, still has a lot of early game stuff they could draw. Like even is Spider Tank really any better here than a Noetron?
No,
it's really not. And it just once you've gotten to this point of the game and Lifecoach has sustained as much as he has, this is this is where it ends.
Also, it seems like Lifecoach is kind of at the beginning had a lot of bad cards, so it means like all the bad cards are out of the way. Now he's going to top the big ones.
Well, there's a very big one.
And that's probably game, if I count correctly, that's 14 plus 9. That should be enough. Like, you attack Anayotron with the bomb. So much
14
buff.
plus 9, that should be enough. I'm not going to do the math anymore.
Yeah,
it's definitely more than enough.
That's for sure. Lifecoach is going to, Lifecoach is taking the math for me. He's counting and he got it. Just attack with the bomb first, the attack with hero, kill the Anayotron, and then all in. Oh, it doesn't actually matter that much.
Actually, this matters. This is more effective damage to the face. Because then you have a 50-50 chance to roll that versus a 33%. So overkill by 5. Lifecoach going to take the first game, of course, in this best of 5. So his Druid's going to be locked now, but that match was like, that typically I would say is going to favor Mech-Mage.
For sure.
It's his draw, like his opening hand was very good. And then his first 6 draws were basically non-relevant.
They're so bad.
They had very, very low impact as far as the game was concerned. And Lifecoach didn't have a fast start. I mean, we saw that he had Innervate into Nourish for mana, but he didn't really do too much after that. It wasn't like his draw was super explosive afterwards. But Taeng's draw was so poor that it really magnified how powerful Lifecoach's draw was.
There is a saying, be careful what you wish for. I'm sure Taeng wanted to have mirror entities in this match. So he got them, right? He got them. He was able to
he got them,
them.
all right.
Yeah, he got them.
He got both Mad Scientists with 0 value and then both mirror entities. Drawing 2-mana 2/2s, just like regular 2/2s, apparently it's not very good.
And then he got like an Anayotron really late. Lifecoach got Dr. Boom. So overall, a very good win for Lifecoach and setting up Druid as the winning deck. Right now, he's left with his Paladin and his Handlock against Mech-Mage is still alive, Paladin, and a Druid that we haven't seen on this stream yet.
Yeah, that's true. We actually have not seen exactly how Taeng's Druid deck is built as far as the main stage is concerned. So game 2 is going to get underway here. And he's going to go with Mech-Mage again. This is something that you see very common in Conquest. People just queuing up the deck. He just lost with, which isn't a big deal. You got to win a game with every single deck anyway.
And he gets Mirror Entity again. He can mulligan it away.
Beautiful. He can just keep it straight away, along with the Loatheb and the Goblin Blast Mage.
Oh man, Paladin versus Mage. So many dudes are going to die in this game. It's just
how important do you think something like Truce over Champion is against Mech-Mage? Do you think this is like a keep in the opening hand? I know that this is a card I very often keep when I play Paladin, but is stuff like Zombie Chow or Shielded Minibot going to be more important in this match?
I think it's more important. I like having Zombie Chow, Juggler, Master, Shielded Minibot, like stuff that can respond to the Cogmaster, to early aggression, and just dismantle the mech mech setup in the very beginning. Like True Silver might be too late. If you have a coin, you can think about it because you can play it on turn 3. But then you want to have that early game.
Well, he's thought about it and he decided to keep it. Oh, mind control tech. This is something we've seen. This is in 2 of Lifecoach's decks actually, is mind control tech, and it really speaks to the kind of game he's trying to play. Is that he's going to concede the early board very often, and he's trying to punish opponents with that, with stuff like mind control tech.
And he is very patient, so like he's patiently watching his opponent play the 4th minion, and then he takes it. So it basically works for him. But here, the Mech Warper being dropped for Taeng, he has a good follow-up. There is no way for Lifecoach to deal with it right now, so Taeng will be able to benefit from either Pilot Shredder or Tinker Town Technician.
This is a really tough spot, actually. He can clear out this Mech Warper in terms of card economy pretty favorably, but he has to pay a lot of life to do it.
You mean like coin the Master for battle and then attack the Mech Warper?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the good moment. Like you're not afraid of Blast Mage yet, so you can use your dudes to your advantage. And you have a turn 3 play, you have a turn 4 play, so it's not terrible. I like it. Like not doing that play, he will be able to True Silver something, but right now he's taking the initiative. Like if you allow Taeng to play another minion and then you play True Silver, there's always one minion on board that's dealing damage to you, so you're basically behind on tempo. But with this, it's like like you always say, heads up play, where you go and actually try to respond to what's happening.
Yeah, Taeng actually really senses this too, and he's going to try to shut this down before it gets out of hand. I actually really like this too, because now his Annoyatron's going to go unchecked as well, and then he's going to have multiple options moving forward. Calthazad getting added.
I just love this deck.
To a hand that already had a ton of mana. 16, 21, 25, 28. He's got 34 mana worth of cards in his hand on turn 3.
Lifecoach is so fun to watch because he plays all those fun cards that people mostly forget. Like a lot of people just play aggro decks with the same cards, and Lifecoach is playing Kultuzad, Pilot the Sky Golem, MC Tech as well, even though it's like cheap on mana, it's still a very interesting card to see in the tournament setup. Oh man.
34 mana on turn 3. Great value.
Oh, he's just
got right now.
He's just going to wait. Come on, he's just going to patiently wait. I think you do have to play the mind control tech here. If you play a dude, if you just dude up, you're not contesting anything that's going to get played next turn. And then you want to have a body on board that can contest minions, and then you will play True Silver to be able to kill something big. And with the Sludge Belcher, you can kind of get back to the game. But it's definitely good to think about this plays.
Yeah, I think with how much mana he has, he really just needs to try to buy as much time as he possibly can. And one of his best ways to do that, of course, is just by getting minions on the board.
And even though my control tag is a pink gnome, he's still doing his job. You know, it's a decent body, free for free.
It's a great beard he's got.
Will you dye your beard and like cosplay mind control tag?
No, it's not for me.
And you like enter the crowd and you steal the 4th person?
I'm already too pink as it is. Like my skin just kind of has like a pink tone to it.
Oh, okay.
Imagine if the beard was pink also, I would just blend in. It wouldn't even look like I had a beard.
That would be so weird. Like transparent beard. All right, so Taeng here, having a lot of plays. I might like the Tinker Town Technician because you're getting a 4/4 and a spare part that you can maybe use. Like if you get a +1 attack, you can trade with the mind control attack. Okay.
Yeah, just gonna favor damage. I mean, he wants to commit the mind control tech to a certain attack. You know, if he didn't kill, if he either attacked the token or he didn't hero power the token, it would just get killed directly, and then this 3/3 would run into the Mech Warper. And I think that's the situation he's trying to avoid, is this Mech Warper dying.
But then again, the Lifecoach gets a consecration, so he can clear the board. Does he play True Silver or Consecration here? True Silver will enable him to attack next turn as well. but then he has to leave one of the mechs on board. So how important it is to deny the mech before turn 5?
Well, he can't deny the mechs really entirely, other than Consecration.
Let me think.
It doesn't feel like a very life coach thing to do. This really does. Again, he's just got so much mana in his hand. He doesn't really need to play too terribly efficiently with his mana because he's just going to scale so well as he gets to the late game that he just needs to make sure that he's at a comfortable position while he's using all of his mana.
I think also like what speaks about using True Silver here is that turn 5 is mostly Azure Drake that you can deal with the True Silver weapon, plus the fact that last turn was just a Spider Tank and a ping, which can mean that there are not that many mechs, so that there's not that much mech warper value, but we can see there's actually a lot of value here. It's a very strong turn for Taeng.
I really like the trade here too.
You protect your Pilot Shredder.
Yeah, so I think that's actually super key right now.
Second Consecration.
Now, this is, I mean, the game's gonna get kind of, you know, it's probably gonna get a little bit out of hand here in favor of Lifecoach. You know, this True Silver champion really buying him so much time, and then of course it's got to deal with this situation as well. So I think you're pretty likely to see Fireball here, or just not an attack.
The longer the game goes, the better situation for Lifecoach. For Mech Mage really has to snowball and deal enough damage to finish the game with fireballs or like Fireball, Frostbolt. But right now, what Taeng is doing, it's trading minion for minion. He will be able to build up some board, but then it is awkward again. Like I might actually favor playing the Technician here, using the hero power to clear the Belcher. First you attack and see what you get. Unless you actually Fireball. You can also Fireball this and attack the 1/2, clear it, and then ping face.
I think a bigger story is he's got to figure out exactly how he wins this game. And it doesn't start with this hand, that's for sure. Like, he needs to draw an Archmage, he needs to draw Dr. Boom, he needs his opponent to make inefficient attacks instead of him being able to do it. Honestly, I think that Azure Drake is a totally reasonable play. This is fine too. I mean, seeing what you get is important. And Shield and Minibot, pretty darn good one. You know, getting the mech. I think I would have tended to attack. I'm sorry, to play this mech warper. I'm sorry, the Tinkertown Technician first though.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't play it first, he doesn't always get a spare part.
I think he actually forgot about that, and he got the mech, so he didn't get punished. That was Lifecoach was like, come on.
And you can see Taeng just, you know, obviously very visibly tired. Again, a very long flight from Korea for him. So not surprising to see him in Lifecoach kind of a, you know, almost on home turf.
Yeah, sometimes when you're tired, you just go on default mode, and
it's just tough to play when you
definitely. And you look at Technician, and you're like, oh, this is the 4/4 that grants me the spare part. You actually forget that you need a mech on board.
Well, there's Mad Scientist right on time on turn 7.
And we haven't seen Mirror Entities yet, so they will be powerful. Lifecoach has 2 big cards and the Quartermaster, so he will be able to play around the Mirror Entity a bit. But if the Quartermaster is getting dropped earlier, like next turn, Mirror Entity might be deadly. Taeng is not out of this game yet. Like, he still has cards that are powerful here. I think he just might... You should draw cards here. I would go for Azure Drake and Mad Scientist. Like, Azure Drake first, see what I get. And then just kill the 1/2, go 4 damage to face.
Well, I really don't mind Loatheb here. You know, Consecration looks like it's going to be a bit of a problem. Or potentially a bit of a problem, and this also makes sure that you can apply a lot of pressure to your opponent. I mean, the 5/5 is definitely relevant. I think I like Azure Drake better, but I can understand why he's playing Loatheb.
Yeah, but on the other hand, like, I would like to see a Shield and Minibot attack on the 1/2 and then 4 damage to face, because you know that Consecration is not getting dropped next turn. But I can also understand like attacking that with a 4/4 and trying to keep the shield on. This might be important whatever gets dropped from Pilot Sky Golem.
Yeah, I'm actually curious if the shield yields more damage in the long run than the 4 damage on face does. Which I think it's probably pretty close to equal with a chance to deal more.
It gives you more flexibility. Because now you can actually trade with whatever is getting dropped. And you're still going to attack with the Shield and Minibot. Alright, so we are going to see Magical Creature at 2/5
Actually
mech.
pretty good right now.
It is. And then my Pilot the Shredder. And a dude. 2/5
I'm okay with
dude.
Quartermaster also. Again, he's just got so much mana in his hand that he just needs to get stuff on the board to fight. And as long as he can fight enough that he doesn't die very easily from his opponent, I'd say he's typically got an advantage.
Do you think this favors Kel'Thuzad more next turn? Because you got 2 minions that can actually trade and resurrect?
Well, he's going to be resurrecting a 1/1 instead. So it really depends on what happens this turn.
Oh,
Goblin Blast
Blast
Mage is an
1 mana
interesting
off,
pickup.
though.
Yeah.
You can't ping this, right? This is the... Can't get targeted by spells and hero powers.
Yeah, that guy can only be targeted by attacks.
That's so
and
awkward
battle
then.
cries.
How do you kill, like... you need 2 minions to kill it.
Just gotta attack it. Honestly, the Mirror Entity at this point feels like it's pretty darn good. Your opponent's played so much early game and mid game stuff that the Mirror Entity is very likely to play a strong disruption.
Yep, not to mention you're filtering your deck and you're not going to draw into it. But this Taeng, he can still draw into a second Mirror Entity. We've seen that before.
Time runs out on me.
Yeah, he got a bit unlucky with that. That's Mirror Entity, alright. 70 cards for Taeng, 19 cards for Lifecoach. So basically Taeng is 2 cards ahead on draws.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to play a grindy game here. And if he played Loatheb to play around Consecrate, yep, I agree. It doesn't really make sense to play Cogmaster if that's what he's trying to play around.
Oh, that's a fantastic card. He can play around Mirror Entity. He can just clear the board here easily.
Yeah, this is looking really, really bad for Taeng here.
This is just a no-brainer. Taeng is like no mechs. He has a Blast Mage, Cogmaster, and a Fireball. No pressure at all. Oh man. And more minions, even a knife to face.
Perfect.
Already use face on the knife. Like every time I'm going to see the knives now, I'm going to see like RDUs flying in his opponent.
Which is really weird. I can't picture a knife with an actual just a face attached to it. It's just not.
Alright, no mech. Like if he would get a mech now, let's say Clockwork Gnome, maybe there would be a chance to turn this around, but he really needs to get the Blast Mage value.
Yeah, the fact that he has really kind of lost out on snowballing for 2 games in a row now, he's been kind of held at bay both times. That really is speaking to, you know, exactly where the game plans are, and kind of also speaking to the way that Taeng's draws have been, because he's had pretty strong early games, and then like his mid game pans out so kind of awkwardly, you know, where he's got like 5 drops that aren't doing too much in the situations he's getting into. You know, he turn 7 Mad Scientist is obviously not the strongest Mad Scientist that you can play in this game, and when you get into these sorts of battles with Lifecoach, this is where this guy really wins a ton of his games, is because he's always got some sort of late game powerhouse.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because Taeng doesn't have a weird deck. He has a very stable mech mage, and he's playing versus super greedy decks that Lifecoach is playing, where normally mech mage is favored because you just snowball early and then you finish the games with fireballs or a frostball. But he never got that kick. Like he got the mech now again. And Neutron, late game.
I mean, what else can you expect to draw? This is what your deck's full of.
You still had Dr. Boom and Antonidas.
Well, your opponent has Ashbringer.
Alright, he needs to...
Not totally over yet. I mean, this is 8 points of damage.
Yeah, but he used 1 Frostball, 1 Fireball already. He needs that Boom or Antonidas to get back.
8's a lot.
On the other hand, Lifecoach doesn't have any taunts now.
8 is a lot.
With Consecration, he will be able to clear, but then take 5 damage from Blast Mage, which is not acceptable.
Yeah, I would tend to armor plating. Oh, I actually like armor plating the Neutron here, I think.
Well, with this, you protect the Cogmaster. There is a silence. What does it change? He will be able to kill that Cogmaster easily. But then Blast Mage is outside of reach. Like you can kill with weapon, but you don't want to, because then a simple fireball kills you. Right? No, it's like, yeah.
I don't really know if he has much of a choice, honestly. I mean, if you let it live, it's dealing 5 damage too. There's no real reason to let that happen.
Yeah. Wow. So Taeng still has the chance to take this game, but like, it's not even like a Fireball top deck. I mean, if he top decks Fireball, it's great for him. He wins. But still, like if he gets something like Dr. Boom, he can maybe still claw back to take this game.
Yeah, I'm thinking of some piloted shredder drops that Lifecoach would really want. Stuff like Lightwell and Vitality Totem are really coming to mind right now.
Yeah, those cards actually win you games. Oh man, 7 points of health. Oh, come on, he doesn't have a spell.
Yeah, there's no spell though.
That armor plating, and is it happening again? He used the stealth before.
I mean, I still think this is a totally fine play. You just ping your opponent's face and drop Archmage.
This is exactly the same situation as against Reynad. He had the stealth, he piloted the shredder, then he topped the Antonidas. And now he used armor plating and got Antonidas again.
I still think it's right. I still think armor plating is in play.
You still play it.
Yeah, I think you just ping your opponent's face and drop Archmage.
Yeah, obviously you have to.
You're threatening lethal with just the 5-power body.
It's not like you're going to stay with it in your hand and wait for like mysterious Frostbolt to show up in the next 15 cards.
Yeah, holding on to this Archmage I think would be...
Also, actually,
I really don't like pinging the Owl.
Let's think about pinging the Owl. Like, if the Owl stays, then like Defender of Argus clears Antonidas. Or like a simple Bluegill clears Antonidas with the Owl. Simple Juggler clears Antonidas.
Yeah, I got a feeling you're going to see Kel'Thuzad.
But this means
I mean,
that
3 Jugglers has 12.5% chance here on 3.
I think like looking at this board state, I think Taeng has a great chance to win, and he doesn't even have to top deck anything. Antonidas is going to deal 5 with 1 damage from hero power. And then Lifecoach might not have enough power to finish the game.
Wow, Lifecoach now has a 25% chance to do it though, with this situation. And I think he's really looking at the idea of playing Kel'Thuzad. I think he still play Kel'Thuzad, I really do.
If you play Kel'Thuzad, can you kill the mage in 2 turns? Like this turn, you deal 5 damage to face, you get them to 18. And then next turn, you're going to deal 5, this is 13, 6 Kel'Thuzad, and Pilot the Shredder that's going to get resurrected. And
yeah, I think
you have lethal, yeah. So basically, if you play Kel'Thuzad, you give your opponent 1 chance to draw an out. And that out has to be Frostbolt, Fireball. Oh, he actually killed it. I think it's actually... It might be good, because if there is a spell, then he loses for sure. Mech Warper. Wait.
Yeah, I mean, this is still going to be lethal very often for Lifecoach.
Yeah, he just needs to hit with the juggle.
Oh gosh.
He needs to hit with the juggle. He has 2 chances,
14,
right?
15. He's got 20 points of damage right here. And he's got 2 chances to juggle a minion.
Oh man, the juggles. The juggles today are so crazy.
Oh, this is great.
I can't believe this. Okay, Lifecoach, let's do it. RDU juggles. RDU faces. Put an RDU face on your knife. And Faramir's face on the board. And just throw it. Throw it, man. Don't throw the game, throw the juggle.
He's trying to figure out a way to win more often or stay alive, and it's just not here.
I don't think there is. Like, you're dying to the ping, you have to juggle face. Let's see if Lifecoach can do a good RDU impression. Is he going to stand up?
This is a 75% chance to win, by the way.
He's like, yeah. Oh, what's happening?
Oh my god!
Now it's 50-50.
Oh my gosh, this is 50-50 to win or lose the game.
Oh my god, Lifecoach!
Oh,
What just happened? He missed the juggle. Oh, he has to like, RDU needs to coach him. I think. I can't believe this. Oh man, what just happened? RDU needs to coach Lifecoach how to juggle.
Wow.
Lifecoach, this is not how you win games. And Taeng is actually pinging the. Oh, he got a fireball. It doesn't even matter now.
Oh,
that was a crazy game. What just happened, right? Like,
oh, he just missed a bunch of juggles. That's what happened.
Oh man, this is Hearthstone. I just love it. Those games. So we have a tie.
Yeah.
And Mech Mage was finally able to win the game, even though like the draws and like
Well, pretty lucky to win. I mean, he was in a 25% chance to win scenario, and got lucky and winning the game. That's part of Hearthstone sometimes, is that percentages just work out in your favor.
But do you think it's if Lifecoach would not kill Antonidas, if he would attack face with the weapon, then he had 100% kill next turn, but Antonidas will survive. Antonidas would have to go for face.
I think he thought about his knife juggler line and understood that he's going to have a 75% chance to win. And I think when you really take into account that scenario, it makes more sense to play it the way that he did. Really, the only time he doesn't have a 75% chance to win is when his opponent draws Azure Drake into a minion or draws Dr. Boom.
But then again, Antonidas was killing him anyway if there would be a Frostbolt. Like any spell, or Mirror Entity actually.
Yeah, Mirror Entity.
Yeah, there was still one Mirror Entity. So he played into 75% as opposed to
or even like Clockwork
topic.
Gnome and then ping the Clockwork Gnome and then
get, yeah. But then you actually have enough mana to actually go.
Plenty of mana.
Yeah.
10 mana.
All right. Yeah. Interesting.
I think the way he played it was right. I think it was the way he was supposed to do it.
All right. Well, I liked the going for face because I like going face, but then the percentage chance of winning would probably be close.
It goes down a little bit by not killing the Archmage.
All right. But it's more manly.
Well, if that's the measure of the way you want to make Hearthstone plays, that's a great deal then.
Well, we had a lot of fun with juggles, so what's left for Lifecoach right now is he's Paladin still. He needs to win a game with it, and he still has his handlock. And then for Taeng, there is a Paladin and the Druid.
Yep.
We might see a Paladin mirror match.
We could, and again, I was sort of saying that's the situation I think he wants to avoid is playing a Paladin mirror, because playing a value game versus Lifecoach, not a very good way to go. But Paladin versus Warlock, this used to be a match that was thought to be extremely good, but I actually don't think it's that favored for Paladin, favored at all. I think Handlock typically will have an advantage in this matchup. So just kind of looking at the way these classes are lined up right now, I think that Lifecoach has a minor edge. But I mean, this is still anyone's game, though. I mean, if Taeng gets one good Druid versus Handlock game, which is actually what Game 3 is going to be right here.
Handlock versus Druid.
This is the matchup that Lifecoach I think really wanted to avoid. So I guess when you look at it, they both had matchups they kind of wanted. Like Taeng wanted to avoid Paladin versus Paladin, and if he did that, he got Druid versus Warlock, which is kind of exactly what he wanted. So now he's going to have Paladin versus Warlock and then Paladin versus Paladin.
I think
got one game with that. If he wins this one.
This is a 50-50 now, in my opinion, because Taeng really wanted to avoid Paladin versus Handlock, and he did. Right now, if Handlock wins, then Paladin will face Paladin, Druid will face Paladin. If Druid wins, he might still face Handlock Paladin, but he then has a Paladin mirror that he has to win.
It's too many Paladins.
Yeah, there's a lot of light and Paladins. All right, so back to the game. We have the Druids running a lot of interesting cards. That curve is very good, but there's no wild growth for Taeng. Nothing really specific, standard Druid cards. Did you know that somebody did the stats and there is, 10 cards in all Druid decks that are the same always? 10 staple cards.
That was at a certain event.
Yes, that was a certain event.
I mean, that's not surprising at all. Druid has a lot of just very strong staple cards that it has to play. It's a very linear deck.
Yeah, it is. Can you say Druid is actually easy to play?
No. I don't think it is. I think Druid gets in a lot of sticky situations where they have to make a lot of decisions and that's pretty much every single deck that I think is out there, is that you have to make tricky decisions at some point along the game.
Oh man, look at this. Faramir got knocked out from the tournament. Airbrushed eliminates Faramir. That juggle, man. That juggle hurts. He was
One juggle. Snowballed Faramir's tournament destiny into oblivion. Airbrush's gonna move on.
Oh man, we are going to see Airbrush in top 8. That's actually really exciting.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that. I've heard really good stuff about Airbrush's game.
I heard a lot of good stuff about Airbrush for a long time.
That's how you know that Hearthstone's not easy to play pretty much in any situation, is that you have the fact that you have the same guys consistently winning over and over again and performing well on ladder, and that not everyone does that. I mean, the game is it's just not that simple.
Yeah.
There's some situations that are simple. Like obviously, if you have 5 mana and have one 5-mana minion, and that 5-mana minion is probably gonna hit the board, great, easy situation. But picking all the right decks and then making all the right card choices for those, and then also sequencing those right and understanding your opponent's game plan and your own. It's a lot of stuff to account for.
Definitely. Like, you have to know how to play your decks. You need to know how to play your decks against specific decks as well. Setups and the small decisions you have to make. All right, so what's the decision here? Just coin, Lothar. Maybe let's talk about this matchup first. Like, who do you think has an edge, and how does Druid win versus Handlock?
I think Druid has a pretty significant edge. And the reason is because the deck kind of moved away from being an aggressive deck that wanted to charge at your opponent's face with Druid of the Claw and turned into like a grindy value deck. And at the same time, Handlock, I mean, this happened ages ago, but at the same time, Handlock moved away from like bursty combos with Power Overwhelming and Faceless Manipulator and tried to move into its own kind of grindy deck. And I think that at the end of the day, Druid just has bigger minions on average than Handlock has. And while Handlock certainly has a couple of very powerful big minions, Druid has a lot of powerful big minions. And I think that that's really where it's finding a substantial edge.
I think what's also important is that Druid has those cards like BGH and Keeper of the Grove that target and prey on the big minions that Handlock is going to play.
Yeah, they're both playing BGH, but BGH is much more effective for Druid.
Oh man, this curve is just crazy. Not to mention that he just, like, Taeng just played a turn 4 Ancient of Lore. He can follow up with Lothar on 5, Sylvanas on 6, and then on 7 he can play Scenarios. Or just combo for the win if he has enough minions.
Well, it's looking like combo is going to be a very realistic possibility in the coming turns.
For Lifecoach, turn 6, Tori-san is green. Is that the play? Like, whenever Tori-san is green on turn 6, you play Tori-san when you have this many cards in hand.
I certainly don't think it's a bad... It's hard for Emperor to really be a bad play when you're not facing...
I always think like Tori-san is actually a Japanese card. In the back of my mind, I read it Tori-san.
Is that supposed to be a Japanese accent?
And like, if you are really friendly with Tori-san, you can
Nimsh,
call
the last samurai.
Tori-kun. Tori-kun, please help me with my cards. And if he helps, it's Tori-sama.
You're going deep down this rabbit hole, man. I think Artosis really nailed it with Tarzan. It's like, oh, great pronunciation. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I think it's good. Alright, so Lifecoach just putting some defenses here. No spells this turn. Double Keeper. Ancient Watcher has to be like one of the most awkward minions to silence.
Well, that's typically why you just don't silence it. I think Sylvanas is pretty darn good here.
Yeah. There is something on board.
Yeah, it's hard for... If Sylvanas dies, it's hard for it to not get some sort of significant value here.
Are you afraid of silence?
No, I don't think so. I think if your opponent's silencing, like, two things are happening. Number one, you're pulling a silence out of their hand, and they're getting a 2-1 on the board. And then number two, you still have a 5/5 body they have to deal with, so they're not developing their own 5/5 bodies typically when they're having to silence this early.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't play Emperor on turn 6, so I think a lot of times you can kind of assume he doesn't have it. And when you play Sylvanas, obviously he can't play Emperor anymore with this being on board. And if he silences, even if he had Emperor, he wouldn't be able to play because he's not going to have the mana for it. So just kind of just everything is working in favor of playing Sylvanas this turn.
Oh man, there is a Shadow Flame. If you attack with your Defender Vargas into whatever, the Shadow Flame, you still have 3 points of mana that you can use to tap. And the board is cleared. What do you gain? On turn 7, something big can be dropped, like a Scenarios, for example.
I don't really think that Shadow Flaming is necessarily his option here. I mean, he might conclude that just because he's facing so much damage and it's such a scary amount of damage to be facing. But I think that creating board tension here is probably just... It's something that's so important here. So just like probably like Ironbeak Owl and Sludge Belcher, I think is...
Yeah, I agree.
You just want your opponent to like... You want them to kind of kill your minions and then continue to invest in their board position and then find a big Shadow Flame turn.
The great part about Silence and Sludge Belcher is that they still have to go through the 5/6. They can kill your Sludge Belcher, but it doesn't change that much. You still have that wall you put up. But then again, you're getting closer and closer to combo.
I really wonder how much Lifecoach is thinking about Mind Control deck.
In Druid, it is possible. Actually, it was kind of popular.
He's playing Mind Control deck in his own Druid deck.
Yeah, but on the other hand, like, he has 3 minions. That if they are stolen, it's not that bad. Like 2 minions, that if Iron Beak gets stolen or a 2-3, it's fine. If the 5-6 gets stolen or a 3-5, well, he can still play around that.
Well, nothing's going to get stolen anymore because it's been... No, Archimedes had something to say about it.
All right, so scenarios.
Well, why are you playing scenarios is really the first. The big question right here is he's got to figure out, you know, what his game plan is moving forward. Does he want to just pressure damage? Does he want to fight a grind? You know, these are questions he's got to ask himself.
What do you think about like playing scenarios and buffing those minions and then trading into the 5-6 and a 3-5?
I think you're leaving yourself with very little when you do that. You're gonna have a 5-8 afterwards, and then really nothing much after that.
Time waits for no one. I must safeguard the land.
Also, he's going for face then, or killing the Belcher?
Oh, he certainly is going. If this is his play-in play, he's certainly going for face. He just wants pressure out.
Well, if
I mean, Lifecoach
Keeper
is
survives,
very,
it.
very forced to respond to this poor position.
it's getting really close to combo. Taeng has so much burst in his hand with double Druid of the Claw, combo, even Keeper.
Yeah, this is a situation I think Lifecoach is going to sniff out. You know, when Taeng plays pretty much straightforward, is what I've noticed. When he makes a play like this, he's really kind of telling you that he's getting close to killing you. I think Lifecoach really is going to sense that.
All right, so here just playing in Twilight Jig and getting a ton up. Seems nice. And he has a good use for those Mortal Coils.
Yeah, this is going to keep running range.
Oh, there's cool.
Yeah, this is pretty much... I mean, I think this is probably the best scenario he could have gotten himself into. You got to utilize both Mortal Coils, which were otherwise very much stuck in his hand in this matchup. Gets Emperor down, which is a big threat to Taeng. Now Taeng draws his own Emperor.
Emperor can really make the next turns awkward for Lifecoach. If all those cards are cheaper, suddenly you maybe get like such burst that's really easy to...
Yeah, the problem with this is that this is one of those turns where it might feel like it's like the last one where he can sneak in this damage underneath taunts. I mean, he's got to be worried about taunts after this next turn. So I think at this point he's gonna have to look towards fighting a grinding battle.
What about just innervate combo face?
Well,
we see it's the best play.
oh yeah, totally. I think at this point he's still capable of fighting a grind, even though he may not want to, because all that has to happen while he's fighting the grind is he has to end one turn with initiative, or he has to go into one of his turns with initiative, and then he has combo to kill it.
Imagine if Tori-san would actually be a swipe.
Well, I mean, he will certainly be combo's face then.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd probably have to go. I don't know. That's still not even necessarily the case, though. I mean, even if this Thor-san was a swipe, if he's gonna ever play the face game right now, it's got to be charge 2 Druid of the Claws, which is not simple. Again, this deck took such a shift away from that when everything became such these. You know, you became capable of fighting these big heavy grinds because of cards like Dr. Doom and Emperor Thor-san that you just don't need to play that way anymore.
So yeah, double Tori-san on board. Both got the power from the power of Ragnaros. So much power.
Imagine this is going to be anti-kill bot.
He taps.
I've got the beast in my...
Yeah, he's playing big game under an anti-kill bot. So still out of range of these Druids of the Claw, but still pressure for Taeng.
Oh man.
Actually, you know, let's say if he makes 2 2/2s, that's game. He just Hellfires, right? Yeah.
Then with Zombie Chow, it's +2. He gets to 11. And that's 4, 8, 11. Yeah. So he needs to hero power, and then he's alive on 1.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So actually,
Oh, well, yeah, he just Shadow Flames then.
that's so crazy.
Yeah, this game, he's gonna have to taunt Druids of the Claw if he wants to live here.
If he Shadow Flames,
But
what
if he taunts Druid of the Claws, though, I think he's really giving up a lot of win condition.
6. Yeah. Well, Druid of the Claw into Zombie Chow.
I don't mind Paladin Shudder in like 1 Druid of the Claw, but I think he really needs to have access to a charge to be able to win this game.
Well, he still has one more Force of Nature, possibly, in his deck. We've seen one. He might be running two.
I don't mind charging into the Zombie Chow, actually. I think that's totally reasonable.
Yeah, we're getting a cat that has to be traded in, and you get back to 15 with the hero power. It's not like Handlock is going to rush you.
No, I mean, still putting pressure on. This game is...
It's one off, by the way.
This game has been so crazy.
It's 14 points of damage, right? 5, 7, 10, 14 points of damage. Lifecoach is 1 damage off lethal. Get this game. You got Iron Beak. That might be important to be able to deal with the sludge to the pilot shredder. Well, Iron Beak out and let's say Shadow Flame. And then you go for face with everything else. You're still outside of the combo range because you have 16, not 14.
It's a really tough spot to be in.
So somebody suggested that Druids should start playing Stone Tusk Boar. Because with Stone Tusk Boar, if you have a combo, you actually deal 17.
The problem is then you have a Stone Tusk Boar in your deck.
Well, yeah. But I will remind you that the world champion, Firebot, did play it in a rogue deck?
Yeah, he lost that game, I believe.
Yeah, because he didn't attack with the Stone Tusk Boar.
What was his record that tournament?
It's pretty good. He wasn't the last one.
I have no time for games.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like this. Just go for it. Steal whatever this remaining minion is.
Oh,
Flame Tongue
wait.
Not terrible. It's not lethal because it doesn't go in between. Wow, if the Flame Tongue Totem position was in between all the minions, he actually would have won
He's
the
so
game.
sick. Oh.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's only 13 damage.
Oh man, so close. There's a Hellfire going to seal this game.
Yeah.
Taeng getting really close to killing
Wow,
Lifecoach.
really well played game, I think, by both these guys, honestly.
Definitely.
Like, Taeng was really hunting for lethal for, the last few turns or so, and Lifecoach was just every single time able to kind of fortify his position against that happening.
I just love how Torison shaped the game. Like after both players played Torison, it was a different Hearthstone that we knew before BRM.
Yeah, I mean, 100% was. Like, Thaurissan is one of those cards you can't emulate its ability, really. It's very, very unique, and at times, while it certainly can seem very broken, I think the card, all in all, is very good, because the strategies that are effective against Thaurissan typically are strategies that don't allow Thaurissan to be very active in the game, and that creates diversity.
I also want to give another shout out to the Torison because it's like a really digital card. Like in the normal physical card game, playing this card would be really annoying.
Oh my gosh, it'd be impossible.
You have to note which cards you had in hand. You basically have to reveal the hand to your opponent.
You have to keep your cards separate.
Yeah.
It'd be awful.
Alright, so Lifecoach is going to take game number 3 and get a lead against Taeng. Taeng is not out yet. The Lifecoach is not through yet as well.
Yeah, 2-1 lead here. He's got one deck left to win with.
And that deck is Paladin.
Yep. It's pretty tough stuff here.
Oh man, pretty exciting last match. I love it. I love it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, Taeng gonna have to either win with Paladin or with Druid, and this is again sort of the matchup I think that he wanted to avoid was Paladin versus Paladin, as like a single final game.
I think it's fine, really. Like, I think Taeng has an edge with the more aggressive approach. So it will definitely depend on the draws at the beginning.
I would say so.
But if he gets all the cards he has, which are aggressive, and Lifecoach gets a clunky hand where his deck is more stuffed with the clunky cards, the Taeng has an edge to take that one. And with Paladin win, it will be down to Druid versus Paladin, which is... Who has an advantage, Druid versus Paladin?
Well, I mean, again, it's going to depend on how the decks are built. I mean, you mentioned that Taeng is, kind of going with these aggressive routes, and his Druid deck really seems like it's pretty straightforward and pretty standard. And Lifecoach kind of playing a greedier deck. It's we're gonna have to wait and see what the match is really like, because at the end of the day, I think the favor is in Lifecoach's corner simply because his decks are geared towards fighting grinds.
All right, guys, we're watching Lifecoach versus Taeng, but for now we're going for a short commercial break, so don't go anywhere.
Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me. It wouldn't be right to say always for a place where we live with certain bliss.
Hi guys, welcome back to Gfinity Hearthstone Spring Masters 2. I am Nimsh, I'm joined by Admirable here. We are looking at Lifecoach versus Taeng. Some exciting games, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've been kind of going through this 2-1 in favor of Lifecoach right now, and I would tend to say he's primed to take this match. Taeng's got Paladin and Druid left, and Lifecoach has got Paladin, and his Paladin deck's running stuff like Paladin Sky Golem, really geared at fighting these late game battles, which Paladin and Druid are so often going to tend to do. Even with the more aggressive stance that Taeng is kind of taking with his Paladin deck, I would still tend to say it's going to go in the late game. And just once again, he's even got a Kel'Thuzad in his deck with Paladin Sky Golem, Kel'Thuzad. It's just so much strong end game. I have to give the nod to Lifecoach in the edge.
Well, as you said, like the only chance that Taeng has is to get a very aggressive hand versus Lifecoach's clunky hand with Kel'Thuzad, Tyrion, Paladin Sky Golem, and then he might be able to steal the Paladin versus Paladin. But even then, he'll still have to take his Druid versus the Paladin deck and win that match as well. So how is the Druid versus Paladin again?
Well, it really kind of depends on how the Paladin hands really roll out. If Druid gets an aggressive start and is able to kind of fend things off, I think Druid of the Claw is pretty strong in that matchup, honestly. Outside of something like Aldor Peacekeeper, it's not really going to be dealt with. And then Emperor Thorson, of course, giving you a dynamic that you really just didn't have before against pretty much every single deck you can imagine. Having the ability to kind of accelerate to a turn 7 combo with an extra card, especially one that your opponent has to actually answer, it's so much more pressure, I think, coming from the Druid side of the board. But again, it wants to find a grind. We saw it play Emperor last game, and it was still continuing to try to fight a grind the entire time. And so despite the fact that it does have that extra dynamic and an extra way to attack, I would still tend to say it wants to fight a very long game.
Oh man, I just love Emperor Thorson. It's bringing so much fun to Hearthstone. Like BRM was just awesome, amazing with the new cards. Well, what are the most popular cards from BRM we are seeing now? Thorson is...
Well, obviously Emperor Thorson.
Imp Gang Boss.
Yep.
Are we seeing anything else for now?
I think that right now you're not going to see too terribly much stuff. I think the cards are really good, but you need like the full wing to be released because a lot of the stuff kind of has synergy with each other. Like Volcanic Dragon is really one of those ones that strikes me as once you see it in play, it's going to change the way that people are going to start playing dragon decks. Not only that, but you still have the Blackwing Corruptor to still be yet released, which is the 3 damage one if you're holding a dragon in your hand. Cro-Magus does kind of give you an extra late game dragon that maybe you didn't have before because you didn't want to necessarily play 9-mana ones, you want to play 8-mana ones.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think Rend is that bad. I think that a really well-timed Rend in some situations can put your opponent in some really sticky spots, especially like even facing out against something like Dr. Boom. If you kill Dr. Boom and get an A4 body and Boom bots fail to kill the Rend, your opponent's looking at an 8 power body on board, which is not a situation that you really want to be staring
What about the
down.
green patterns? Like we've seen a lot of people run actually
Yeah,
the green
green patron
pattern
as well.
combo. Yeah, I can warrior deck.
Very strong card.
Is it good?
I think it's very good. It's sort of like it's not quite aggro, but it's not quite control. It's more of like a combo deck that really takes advantage of your opponent putting themselves in bad situations. Game 4 is going to get underway here though, and it's going to start with Paladin versus Paladin. And something else we kind of forgot to mention in this matchup, which is also really important, is that
Mind
little pink bearded
control
guy on the end of that hand over there.
Oh man, I'm already seeing Lifecoach having a big advantage here. We talked about Taeng being more aggressive. He got Knife Juggler, Master for Battle, which is amazing. But then if Lifecoach just coins out Shield and Minibot turn 1, that would be so powerful.
Both of these hands are pretty fantastic, aside from this Iron Beak Owl, which I think is almost certainly going to get pitched.
If there would be no Shield and Minibot, I would give it advantage to Taeng because he can get Juggler into Master for Battle. But then, oh, Lay on Hands. That's the first. But I'm not even surprised. Those decks have so much light. I just need to blink. I'm blinded. Oh man, come on, Paladin. We need like a dark Paladin version, like a Shadow Paladin. I would play that.
Shadow Paladin.
Yeah, Shadow Paladin would be cool. Like in Warcraft you have Death Knights, but Death Knight is
Death Knight's a Shadow Paladin.
no, it's a Death Knight. Like you can.
That's
have Shadow,
what a Shadow Paladin is.
yeah, that Death Knight is like Paladin heals you with the light, right? Death Knight heals you with an axe. So the Shadow Paladin would heal you with darkness, like kill you with darkness.
That's what a Death Knight does. They infuse the weapon with the powers of evil and attack you with it.
Is that darkness?
That's the runes that they infuse the weapons with.
they
Yes,
they,
it's
they use
darkness.
blood and plague.
And
And is there a darkness build?
well, they have ice.
Oh man,
Ice,
I need
you know,
I
the
need
the chilling cold of the north.
chilling cold is not darkness.
I think the cold dark north is kind of the idea behind the Death Knight.
All right, I need a Death Knight class.
Look at the armor of a Death Knight. What color is it?
Well, Blood Elf Death Knight has a pink armor, I believe.
Pink armor. It starts with, that's what you're telling me right now.
Yeah, because it's a Blood Elf Death Knight. They always wear pink armor.
I wish the audience could see the look on your face right now because you're trolling me so hard.
All right, let's get back to that Knife Juggler for Taeng. There is a Shield and Minibot. Yo, Lifecoach, why didn't you coin Shield and Minibot turn 1?
I actually don't like coining the Shield and Minibot here.
There was no follow-up, was there?
Yeah, I'd be very in favor of saving the coin.
But now it means that Taeng will be able to actually sport the Master for Battle. And
Well,
have
he's
a
still
lot
got to
of
get
it.
lucky on it. And even if that happens, like, you know, Lifecoach can still just, he can either play, my mind's going blank here right now. I'm looking at the card and I can't remember.
Mind
his name.
Control
Mind Control Tech, or he can coin Consecrate afterwards.
Yep, that's not bad at all. All right, that makes a lot of sense then. So even though there is this one of the strongest plays for Taeng, Master for Battle turn 3, it might fail.
You can see Lifecoach doing the math on Knife Juggler right now. He's already trying to figure out which.
Oh, I actually thought he's waving at us, and I waved back.
Reporting for duty.
Hey, Lifecoach, what's up, man?
Reporting for duty.
Oh, wow.
Well, come on, he still has a consecration here.
Yeah. It's 50-50.
I really like Hearthstone Jones in this matchup, especially looking at weapons with free durability. But like even if you kill the True Silver
They don't
Champion,
stay 3 durability for very long. True Silver Champion's really the one you're gunning for. Well, Ashbringer is the one I think you're gunning for, but
oh yeah,
True Silver Champion is quite all right.
yep. Whatever weapon you get is good. So
The
if
problem with Consecrating here, by the way, is that it's not a very clean turn.
and turn 4 he won't have a clean
Yeah,
play.
you're looking at your opponent potentially playing Piloted Shredder and you'd respond with Eldor Peacekeeper. And then how's turn 5 look, though?
What's good news for Lifecoach is that Taeng doesn't really have Piloted Shredder or any good turn 4 play.
I think you just jam the Mind Control attack here and steal the Knife Juggler. I think that's the right play.
I would do it. I would just get that Juggler.
Sometimes you just brawl before you attack without.
Oh, he's actually going for it. Oh man, at 25%. Can Lifecoach steal the Juggler?
Oh
And
my gosh.
oh, he didn't get it.
That's so tense. This does put pressure back on the Knife Juggler, though.
Well, actually, that's a great consecration turn.
That is a pretty darn good True Silver Champion draw, I'd say, too.
I like the yeah. True Silver is even better here. You can keep consecration for a Master for Battle. I was thinking like how to protect the Juggler.
I also really don't mind. You know what? I take it back. I don't like the Truce over this turn. What I do like is the Eldor Peacekeeper onto the mind control tech.
The plays get better and better.
Yeah, I actually... Truce over is still a very good draw because of the way you follow up to this turn. But Eldor Peacekeeper is kind of, playing the role of like a Shrinkmeister here almost, where you're just trying to buy tempo.
How much do you believe that there is no consecration, seeing no coin consecration on this kind of board?
I mean, it's really tough to say.
By the way, the mind control tag, I liked it from Lifecoach because looking at this board, you have a clear chance to get something useful. Like you play it and you know you're getting a minion and you can get something amazing. If you just get a 1/1, you're not that much behind. And later in the game, you might not have a chance to use mind control tag.
Yeah, the real key to the mind control tech was that it gave you a body to contest the Knife Juggler.
Yeah.
I really don't like this trade. Why is he making that trade? That was just 3 extra points of damage that he missed. Like, your opponent's going to be able to run into one of your 1/1s, but is that really that important?
I like the damage, so I agree with you here.
Yeah, I would tend to favor the damage as well.
So do you consecrate now, or is there any meaning to merit to Sludge Belcher? If you play Sludge Belcher, what happens? You're getting wrecked by True Silver.
I think Consecrate's just going to be their best here. You're pulling 5 points power off the board. You're getting rid of Knife Juggler. You're not going to really have too many great-looking turns in the future for Consecrate, especially considering that you're going to either want to play something like Emperor or Sludge Belcher in the following turns, and your follow-up after that's going to be, a pretty heavy curve of minions. Like, when are you going to have time to Consecrate? That's kind of what I'm looking at here.
This turn is so weird for Tag. You just outdoor hero power pass because you need the weapon for Sludge Belcher, and you know that Sludge Belcher is going to show up, or Azure Drake. Nobody plays that.
Yeah, I mean it's a really awkward turn. I can totally see him playing Master for battle.
He's going for face. Well, you've seen Consecration, you've seen Mind Control Attack. You will hope that you can deal with it. But then, if there is a Sludge Belcher, what do you do with all those minions? Like, you hope for a Quartermaster top deck? That's it?
Sometimes your opponent's got a Sludge Belcher. There's not really much you can do about it.
And why would you keep Aldor? Like, what do you really want to Aldor here?
I will admit that I do like his discipline play here of just token and pass. I think it's far superior to playing the Muster for battle.
I actually agree. Well, I didn't like Muster to begin with, but I like not playing Aldor as well.
Yeah, no real reason to play the Eldor Peacekeeper here. I mean, you're looking for a tempo play. And Aldor is really not giving you one. I mean, the extra 3/3, it's okay. But
Aldor will be amazing on turn 7. Like, if you play Sylvanas on 6, you can play Aldor on 7 with whatever, and then have a good trade with Sylvanas if she survives. Unless we are going to see everything Aldor Peacekeeper, and they're going to attack everyone for 1 point of damage. 1 attack.
Let me think.
hard pressed to not see Sludge Belcher this turn. I mean, I really like Corn Emperor here. But, gosh, I mean, Sludge Belcher just looks so good against this board.
Well, if you get a Sludge Belcher, you not only get rid of the weapon, you have a 1/2 follow-up that can trade with the dudes, and you might even protect your Torison. Playing Torison here is giving you better plays for the next turn, but then you're surely going to lose it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him for Emperor here. This is such a powerful card. 5 mana, gets a 5/5. You know, it's forcing out Choose Over Champion. It's giving you like a really strong turn 6 play, as well as a strong turn 7 play.
Look at this. 5 mana, you get a 5/5, and you get 5 mana. Because that's literally what happened.
Yeah, that's reasonable, right?
Well, that's OP at this point.
Totally not an over-budgeted card.
This Emperor, one day, is going to own an empire and have a small Darth Vader dwarf by his side.
I have no time for games.
I just want to make a Twitter account of just things that you say that are weird. Just post everything out there.
I just feel dwarfed by this Emperor.
But
Nimsh quotes. Hashtag. Well, you can silence the Sylvanas and then Aldor it if you want to.
and then Aldor it. Just completely new to this.
Well, she will be
Like,
an
no, you're
ultimate.
not taking any minions. No, you only have 1 power. 5 is too much. Sylvanas is just like, dang it, I just wanted to fight minions and steal something. Right?
Oh, come on, she turns into an ultimate dude slayer. She's going to slay 5 dudes before she is put down. She can even slay the all.
She's a dude slayer, right?
Oh, yeah. Do you know that Sylvanas was actually a Night Elf at some point? Like in World of Warcraft?
I did know that. Sylvanas is actually one of the characters that I was interested in, read a lot about the lore of. It's just one of the most interesting characters in WoW.
Yeah, she's really nice. And can you name her sisters?
I'm not that into it, but
I know Alaria. Oh, he's going to reduce it with Alder and then silence it. Oh, wait.
that's a great line of play. Yeah, that's totally what I expected to happen.
Oh, come on. I've seen like Quartermaster Rainforest. I've seen everything.
Well,
today. Anything can happen.
I'm trying to forget that for him, and it just seems that everyone wants to bring it up except for me. Even though
I don't know. I just like look at the Rainforest and I just see the play. All right. So what do you do now?
I mean, still tough stuff. No, really, none of these plays are very clean. You just drew Zombie Chow, which is probably one of the worst cards in your deck right now.
Yeah, this is going so much in Lifecoach's favor. Like the game goes longer, and the longer the game goes, Lifecoach is the more advantage he has.
Yeah, that's not only I think the nature of the builds, but also kind of what's going on with the draws too. I would tend to say that Lifecoach is drawn slightly better than Taeng. I mean, not enough, I think, to warrant this kind of an advantage, but just enough. That
I'm just looking for a good consecration here, but I can't see it.
Yeah, this is actually a game where Knife Juggler was kind of a liability, given the way the game panned out. I mean, Lifecoach just got such a strong consecration. You know, and at what cost? Like, he didn't really take too much damage.
Are you going to look into trying to kill your own Sylvanas, maybe? Because he can't deal with this war right now. Master for battle, I'm not sure about it. Like, with no Quartermaster. Oh, he's just going all in on board. He's seen Consecration, he's seen MC Tech. There's a Master from Lifecoach.
Yeah, I mean, this is just looking like another tough spot here.
Well, with Master, you can try getting Sylvanas dead and giving him a minion.
Let me
Just
think.
everything in Lifecoach's court right now. The only thing he really can't do is play Tyrion. It's because he doesn't want the Sylvanas to get out of hand.
Oh yeah, that's for certain. And you want to keep the owl for opposing Tyrion as well. So I think like Master is the play. So you do Master for battle, and then you attack. You do it up, and with 4 dudes, you're being bold and attacking the lady, and kill her, and then hope that she actually takes a dude with her.
I think really the big goal is just to get Sylvanas dead before you play Tyrion.
Yeah, so that's why you play Master for battle, right? Like you look at your board and you look at Sylvanas, and Sylvanas might look like, who is the most handsome here? And I like it as well. If there is a Quartermaster, and it seemed like there's a Quartermaster play.
Yeah, I really like clearing out the tokens before you fight the Zombie Chow in this instance.
Equality
That's a
Consecration.
bad draw right now.
Equality?
Equality is effectively 2 damage here if you want to Equality Consecrate.
I like... Well, Consecration is great. Like,
Sorry, it's 3 damage.
but you don't have the Equality. You just Consecration this. Like you can,
Yeah, it's Equality I think is just a really poor draw in this situation.
overall, yeah, like it doesn't
Yeah.
do anything. But then you just Consecrate and kill everything. You're still left with your Sylvanas, and you do it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to consecrate here. Just again, kind of lamenting the. This has sort of been like the story for Taeng. This match is that he's just in the mid and to the late game. He's just really not drawing very well. Well, I mean, considerably below what I would think is average.
I would say, oh, he's going to save the Zombie Chow, and not really seeing much merit in that.
Well, he just needs extra stuff on the board to fight. Yeah, I mean, he's fighting. This is obviously a very long card advantage battle that's being fought right now.
Yeah, but there's Lay on Hands, and that's so good for Lifecoach.
Oh, he can't know that though. I think it is great for Lifecoach too, but
Well, still, like Lifecoach can't play Tyrion. Just can't play Tyrion.
Yeah, I know. You cannot play Tyrion into a 1-2 Sylvanas.
1-2 Sylvanas locked you.
When I look at that 1-2 Sylvanas, it feels like it costs about 3 mana.
She's so small and so big at the same time. But then Lay on Hands is great. And, well, that Sylvanas not doing much damage here. Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
That's the play. I think you played over
This is the
Tyrion.
kind of draw that he definitely wants to get.
Oh, yeah.
I think you play Tyrion here.
Tyrion over Boom.
Yeah.
You've seen Mind Control Stack. You've seen Consecration. You've seen a lot of dudes.
I mean, just how is he getting punished for this?
For Tyrion,
Yeah.
like, if you play Tyrion, you're getting Aldored or Silenced.
Yeah, I think both of those are totally fine.
And if you play Boom, even if you get Aldored, you still have the Boom bots. Silence doesn't do anything there.
Yeah, I like Tyrion more.
Alright. So for the lights. How many dudes have died this game? I lost count around
I
12.
haven't been counting. This is why they made Bolvar, by the way. Isn't so that you can make a really big minion. It's so you can count how many of your tokens died in a single game.
Well, Bolvar can remember the dudes. The problem is when he shows up late to the party, it's like, oh, I guess everybody's dead.
Well, yeah.
Come on, Tyrion, for the lights. So, right now, silencing Sylvanas. Oh my god, silencing Sylvanas is so awkward. Like, you can't silence Sylvanas, you have to silence Tyrion, but still, that's Sylvanas.
1-2 Sylvanas.
What do you do with that Sylvanas? Like, True Silver? Like, you
It's
can't.
making this situation incredibly awkward.
This is one of the most awkward boards in the Paladin matchup I've seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of awkward stuff in my life in a Paladin matchup. So silence Tyrion, you have to do it, right? Like, you have to deny the weapon.
I don't see another play. I mean, are you gonna not silence Tyrion?
But then, are you going to True Silver Sylvanas and give the owl back?
Which I don't think is that big of a deal.
It might not be, because there's still the zombie chow. Like, even if you take
You
that.
have to clear out Sylvanas before you can play Tyrion, and you've wanted to play Tyrion for what feels like about 63 turns in a row now.
Let
You might actually even play Aldor.
quickly.
Like, Sylvanas dead to the weapon, and then Aldor Tyrion if you want to mitigate some damage. But then you're not really threatened. Like, you're going to take 8, and Zombie Chow is not going anywhere. Alright, so the owl is going to change sides.
Traitor Owl.
That's one treacherous owl, yeah.
It's always owls, man. Don't trust owls.
So the
moral.
So the lady went for the bird. And now the Aldor. Well, Dr. Boom is good. It is green. So,
But you have 10 mana, you don't have 7. That means you have to think about it.
yeah, well, it's still green. It's like, you know.
Let me think.
And you have that Tyrion.
I really want Deathwing to be in one of these decks. I know it's not going to be in there, but I really want it to be.
Deathwing. I remember the times when Reynard played Deathwing in a warrior deck. I think it was like half a year ago.
Do you remember when I beat Puffin in that match? Because I had to play
me
Deathwing and
think.
discard like 6 cards.
It was like 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Discard like Ysera and Lay on Hands. I discard so much stuff.
I just need to see more Deathwing. We might see Deathwing in Dragon decks.
We
That would be
might.
cool.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Dragon Consort turn 8 Deathwing is not too shabby.
Yeah.
It's definitely a reasonable possibility. Pretty overpowering board. 2 equalities in a row for
Not,
Lifecoach. That is so bad.
not really able to do anything here. Like, that Sylvanas got so much value. Single Sylvanas really changed how this game worked for Lifecoach and Taeng.
I suppose the plus side of things is that Paladin doesn't have a ton of burst. So he's still got a little bit of time to find the cards he needs, but not all the time in the world.
Also with the Zombie Chow. Well, the most important card is Dr. Boom, so he might actually go... Is there any merit in equality killing Dr. Boom and then playing Tyrion?
Yes, but it's a lot of life to pay.
Yeah, but then like you have to deal with Dr. Boom, and he is going to attack you eventually. Tyrion can just die to bombs. You might also think about Iron Beal.
Move quickly.
I think I like getting rid of the boom right now. He's going for some show.
He might still be equalitying this turn.
Put your faith in the light.
Nope, he's definitely not. Yeah, I think this is enough. It's just, you know, it's a significant threat to your opponent's board position. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, that's the bird. And if you silence Tyrion, you're basically killing 2 birds with 1 bird. Because you deal with the weapon and with the...
It's supposed to do with 1 stone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's a bird.
Killing 2 stones with 1 bird.
The life coach in
That's a
distress.
massive blow right now.
The funnest thing is that he still has Kel'Thuzad in his deck, and when his board is empty and he gets Kel'Thuzad, he will not be happy.
Yeah.
about it.
This is a weird 1-2 Sylvanas, 1-6 Tyrion. Both Tyrions have been sent 2 1-6 Tyrions.
I told you
this is a weird game.
This game is really weird. And now it pays off that he didn't play equality early. Like he's still trying to get a second consecration here, I guess.
Just going to continue to grind out the game too. I mean, Taeng is at a pretty significant advantage.
Yeah, how do we come back from this? Like, was there Dr. Boom? Still has Dr. Boom, I guess.
I actually really don't like the boom bot attack. I think you should be using the 1-1 dude instead of the boom bot. I think the boom bot puts a little bit more pressure on your opponent's ability to
There is this.
really fight through this. Back-to-back equality draws, I think, is really the story of this game. I mean, we talked about how Taeng was drawing poorly in the late game, but Life Coach, you know, in those 2 turns, he basically drew as poorly as he possibly could.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
I wonder.
Do you not play a minion and lock Taeng with 7 minions so that he can't play anything from his hand?
Joke's on you. You have a full board and I'm not doing anything.
We've seen that before in Zozus versus Kroba. Zozus just insta-told him up, and then he was stuck with Dr. Boom, Neptulon in his hand, and he couldn't play them. Yeah, but the advantage is overwhelming. And I really like killing the Boom before. Well, you just YOLO play to max and pass. And you hope for a Doomsayer.
Yeah, again, you're facing a lot of power on board, but it's not... You know, Paladin's just not going to have a bunch of burst. So if he manages to get a favorable attack through this turn, he actually might... He can still win this game.
Maybe Taeng will feel powerful and just go face with everything, and then Life Coach is just going to top deck True Silver Weapon and win next turn. There are no taunts.
Yeah, that's really true, actually. He does have to think about how the True Silver Champion is 14 points of damage.
Yeah, that's spot on. That's why Taeng has to trade somehow. I would start with a Boombot.
I feel like I'm trying to look at what are the worst trades possible.
Oh. Can I help you? I guess you still kill this.
Looking for the worst trades possible is actually kind of fun. So, like, if he had ran the 3/3 Allure Peacekeeper into the 6/4 Piloted Sky Golem and then run Dr. Boom into that same Piloted Sky Golem.
That would be bad. Well, but it's looking good for now. I think he still needs to attack phase with his Dr. Boom. Like, he needs to start doing damage. If there is a Consecration top deck, this board is getting wrecked. Alright, the bomb is going to hit Jeeves for free.
Reporting for duty.
I'm really surprised he's actually not drawing cards off of his opponent's Jeeves.
Well, it locked the game. Dr. Boom is not it, and there is enough damage to finish it. So Taeng is going to win the mirror.
Well, Life Coach is going to hope he just doesn't see it.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, he might have been in the habit of
Trading.
yeah.
6 cent. Whoa, this
No, he
is
sees it instantaneously.
that's too much damage.
Yeah, game 5. Gonna get underway here.
It's the last minion to kill. The Tyrion. Oh yeah, the Tyrion with
The
light.
little baby 1/3 Tyrion.
Similar to Sylvanas. So small and so big at the same time, finishing the game.
That's
That's
stable
damage.
Tyrion.
Oh man.
All right, yeah. So Paladin got. I think he got a matchup out of the way that I would tend to think that he's not as favored in, and really the back-to-back equality draws from Life Coach putting a big hurt on him here. So Druid versus Paladin is going to be game 5. Druid for Taeng and Paladin for Life Coach.
I really wonder what route is Lifecoach going to take with this deck. I think more control-y because, like, normally if you have a balanced Paladin deck with 1 equality, Defender of Argus, you can try being really fast and just rush the Druid, make risky plays like playing Master for Battle into the board that can be swiped, but if there's no swipe, you're getting a lot of advantage, and then getting a True Silver Champion can help you to go through Druid of the Claw, and you can just rush the Druid. But then again, Lifecoach's deck is different. Like, for him, it's more about survival and getting big equality turns.
Yeah, I would tend to say that getting to pilot a Sky Golem on a safe board is really a big goal of his. So I don't see rushing really being his cup of tea this game. But, you know, True Silver Champion's still going to play a really big role in that. Eldar Peacekeeper, obviously, one of his key cards. I think the question is really going to be how much aggression can Taeng start the game with. And I think if he doesn't get aggression going very early, you're going to see this game be maybe a little bit tough for him. But at the same token, if he's fighting a really big grinding game and it gets sort of towards the late game and he's got stuff like Cenarius, you know, say he's gotten out Consecrates a little bit early, he's able to utilize Emperor Thorson the right way. I mean, he could put together some really big bursts too at the end. I mean, we saw last game, I'm sorry, the game before this last one, he was able to play Druid of the Claw and Force Nature and Savage Roar on the same turn. And that's the same possibility he has in this game. It could, I mean, this could really be a big fight happening. Also forgot to mention Black Knight and how important of a card that is versus something like Sludge Belcher.
All right, guys, this is the moment. This is the game. Game number 5, Taeng versus Lifecoach. The winner is advancing to the top 8. The loser is going to go home. Who is going to win this? Black Knight Keeper, Shade. There's no White Growth, but still for Taeng, that's a decent start, I'd say. For Lifecoach, well, no aggro here.
Yeah, I think a big question is, you know, are you going to keep this swipe in your hand every Taeng?
I think you have to. Whoa, did he mulligan everything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with mulliganing everything too, looking for better stuff. But it looked to me like it was.
I think he kept everything. Actually,
it looked to me like it was keeped. Or keeped. Looked to me like it was capped. It's been a long day, man.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I definitely keep swipe. Like, especially if you have Shadow of Extramus, you can keep swipe because you do play the minion on free, and then if there is a master risky play, you do swipe it.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into a board hand here and these mulligan stages.
Oh, Sheila mini build. That is important.
It's Hearthstoneception right now.
Second swipe.
It's the game within the game.
Oh wait, he did throw it away.
Yeah.
But he got it back. And there is Torisan on turn 3.
Yeah, that's a spicy one.
Even with equality into Torisan, getting those cards cheaper. And he's also getting one more card. One more card will be cheaper, unless it's Innervate.
I wonder if he's ever playing Big Game Hunter here. His hand is terrible, by the way. 2 equalities.
Yeah. Well, those 2 equalities really like Lifecoach, and that's why most of the players play only 1. But I do understand double equality. It's a more greedy version of a control paladin, let's say.
I think he's going to play Big Game Hunter here.
I will opt for Dude Up, because you know you are facing, possibly facing Dr. Boom and Ragnaros. But on the other hand, you want to get aggressive, and you do have a nice curve, like Pilot the Shredder into Sludge Belcher.
I wonder.
The problem is, if you play Big Game Hunter, your opponent can just coin Keeper of the Grove. Good call. So Lifecoach is going aggro. He's going all in with this.
Well, Emperor Thorason's going to be a tough one to deal with.
Yeah.
On turn 3.
You'll have to trade both minions into it, or like use equality and then trade 1, but then it's so weird. And if you use equality, it's so bad. Like,
it's so bad.
yeah, I'm just looking at this Torisan now. I'm already in Lifecoach's turn, and I'm like, he can't. Like, he has to trade both minions into it and play Pilot the Shredder, and I think that's the best play. And Torisan, Tori-kun, Tori-sama, taking control over this game. The power of Ragnaros.
He's got more names than any Emperor has ever lived.
Oh man. This is Dwarf Wars.
He's got more names than Ricky Tikki Tempo.
That's how his wife is calling him. You know who his wife is? Like
Yeah, she said if you kill his wife in Blackrock Mountain, he deals you 30 damage with his hero power. That's what his wife is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I will deal 30 damage as well if you kill my wife. You know, his wife is Moira. He's
Only
like,
30 days. So if someone's got like 26 armor, they're good for a turn.
Oh man, for a turn. But yeah, like a daughter of Magni, the king over the mountain. Right now she's the queen of dwarves, I believe. And they actually have a child. Yeah, Pilot Shredder, you just lost your minions. Second innervate.
I feel like Emperor Thorison's child is just innervate. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, possibly. Oh, Wild Grove. It is kind of like Wild Grove. It was again 5 mana, right? Like, yeah, 5 mana gain from Emperor.
I wonder.
Malfurion Wonders. So do you just slam Azure Drake? Or is there anything better?
Well, I mean, I'm not thrilled about, you know, jamming Azure Drake into a Pilot by any means, but if you got a better play, I'd like to hear it.
Well, you can innervate Sylvanas.
That sounds great. Yeah, coin Sylvanas here. That seems like an excellent set of play. You're going forward here. I think you just Azure Drake. You're going to deal with the Pilot Shredder one way or another.
Innervate Sylvanas is really wasteful, even though I like
Time waits for no one.
contesting the board, and especially because Shredder will trigger first. So you're getting a minion. Oh, Harrison Jones now. So there was one Harrison in Lifecoach's deck. Never showed up when he was needed. So what's the minion from Shredder? It's a Burr. That's barely good.
It's barely good. I see what you did there. Because it's a Druid card.
Yeah.
And because Druid cards aren't very good against other Druid cards.
And it's a mech.
Not because it's a bear.
It's a mech.
You were not making a pun
So
based on...
it's barely mech.
I wonder.
Well, it doesn't do much for Lifecoach, so do you play Harrison to have a 5 attack minion to contest whatever is getting played, or do you try...
I think so. I think five power is just better than 3.
Knowing that there is a Black Knight somewhere, when do you play your Taunt?
I don't think he can really play around Black Knight, honestly. I don't think it's really going to be even a concern in his mind.
I like Harrison because if there's Innervate, Ancient of War, you can deal with that easily. And it's not like you're going to use Harrison anyway.
Tank just jams Blingtron this turn.
Yeah. Oh man. All right.
All these plays look very good to me.
I'm just thinking, like, do you really want to play Sylvanas here?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you're going to play Sylvanas, you might as well just swipe in Hero Power.
Yeah, I just love to swipe Hero Power.
I really like Shade, Hero Power, Wild Growth. And then you don't have to Hero Power the next turn, so you have 3 mana swipe. And then because you went into your 8 mana, you have 3 mana swipe, and then I'm sorry, so you go into 7 mana, you have 3 mana swipe, and you know, potentially whatever you draw on the turn after that too.
It's like, how much do you value swipe in this matchup? And
What am I saying? Wild Growth costs 1 mana, not 0. I'm looking at the Innervate cost and like literally
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
well, he's got Innervate, so you can play anything in his hand.
Oh, Kelf is that.
Ignore me, I lied to you guys.
Some still fun.
Well, he's getting low, but then again, Paladin doesn't have much burst. Only the True Silvers. And considering True Silver as a burst card is actually pretty mean.
4 mana, 4 damage, man. That's solid. That's like Wolf Rider.
It's like 8, actually.
That's a Wolf Rider style value. 1 mana per 1 damage.
It also heals you.
The most important part of dealing burst.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal. So do you continue with the swipe now? You swipe Harrison Jones,
I don't think so. I think at this point you can justify Sylvanas.
but that's so much damage coming.
I mean, definitely is. Even Sylvanas on this board is totally fine still though. Lotheb or Sylvanas. I don't really have a problem with either one.
Yeah, swipe and Sylvanas is nice. I'll think I will go turn 7 for the spells.
Time waits for no one.
I think I will keep Sylvanas for something bigger. Especially knowing what Lifecoach is playing in his deck.
I mean, it'd be really nice to have Sylvanas for something like Tyrion.
Yeah, or Curse that even. So I like Lotheb. Even though, like, Lothep on turn 7 is awkward because you would like to have Lothep on 8 so that they can't cast Lay on Hands. But then again, you stop the Consecration equality. Alright, so turn 7.
Do you stop equality here? I actually think this is a pretty darn good turn to equality.
Yeah, it's not bad. But then Shadow of Sramus is going to have 2 health after that.
No. You equality, play the Knife Juggler, and then start running the minions in.
No, he
Oh, he can't. It's 7 mana.
Yeah.
He just Lothep. What am I thinking of?
You're just tired.
Yeah, I think I'm just. It's been a really long day. It's only been about 12 hours.
Surprisingly, Taeng is actually dropping low. 15 points of health, already half. And that Kel'Thuzad, he needs to clear now. If he doesn't clear, Kel'Thuzad might be amazing.
Well, it's pretty tough to clear in this board position. I mean, he really only has the Wrath. He can kill about half this board.
Do you actually Savage Roar? How important is for you to well, he can also play Sylvanas. If you
Savage
go,
Roar doesn't really do anything here. It's just 2 points damage. It's basically the same thing as Wrath.
yeah, I like Wrath Sylvanas because you are expecting Tyrion on 8. Actually, I think I would prefer Pilot Shredder because it's not sure that Tyrion is getting dropped, and with Equality Consecration, you are going to lose your Sylvanas. So I would keep it till the time that something is actually on board. But well, Sylvanas is going to die to Equalities anyway.
Time waits for no
So I was thinking about Savage because you attack the 3/4 with 5/5, and
I
then
have no time for games.
you Wrath the 3/2. No, you Wrath the 3/3. You kill the 1/2 with the Shadow of Extramus, and then you Savage Roar Juggler. No, it doesn't work as well.
Yeah, using Wrath is superior in almost every instance. I actually don't mind not attacking here either.
That's 7 points of damage coming. Oh, there is a Consecration.
Well, more importantly, there's also a Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah, but there is Sylvanas as well. So what about, like, Dude Up, Equality Consecration? Like, attack with everything, Dude Up, Equality Consecration, and then give back something insignificant.
I kind of just like running both of your minions, like running a 3/3 and running the 3/4 into Sylvanas. And then it steals either the Sludge or it steals the dude, and then you play Kel'Thuzad. And then you get back your 3/5 Sludge Belcher and your 3/3.
Yeah, that's pretty decent as well.
I think it's about the most value you're possibly going to get out of Kel'Thuzad this game.
Yeah, you deal with Sylvanas, and then you have the Kel'Thuzad, you get the Belcher
and
back.
if he steals the 1/1, your opponent's going to be in really bad shape.
If he steals the 1/2, it doesn't matter that much as well. And then he has to kill the... Well, we see that now, but there's no way to deal with the Kel'Thuzad, because he will have to go for Belcher again. Also, he attacks and... oh, he kills him in the face with everything, and Equality Consecration then. But I really like your play, like getting the Kel'Thuzad into the Sylvanas empty board.
I mean, this is totally reasonable too. I mean, he's clearing out his opponent's entire board. There's a 50% chance that the mini steals isn't really worth very much.
So what is Lady into? The guy with the pink beard.
Yeah, I mean, it's just still not worth very much. 2 Savage Roar. I mean, this hand is really awful from Taeng too. I mean, this again continues to be the story of him just, you know, he has a turn where it's really key for him to basically just draw anything of merit, and he's failed to do so.
On the other hand, he will be able to clear the Belcher. He has to clear the Belcher here. And just play Shredder. And Shredder will not be contested by 2 dudes. So like you shapeshift. Wait, he is actually at 6 health. Oh my god, this is so low.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the issue with the way this panned out.
I wonder.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why Lifecoach chose to take this line too, is because it's just more aggressive.
Alright, Shredder shapeshift. And then True Silver Champion is sealing the game.
time waits for no one.
Saboteur to kill the 1/2. Is it like... Is this a play against Kel'Thuzad?
I think it's a play of just trying to buy himself as much time as he possibly can.
What does it accomplish, really?
Long term, you know, if he has the hero power. Oh my gosh.
Sky
That
Golem.
is such a strong one draw right now.
Well,
I don't think it mattered too terribly much though. I mean, Taeng he's just fallen far behind.
yeah, it's not. It doesn't have a way to clear. It doesn't have a way to win the game from here. Ancient of Lore might be nice, but first, I guess you have to attack it as a 6/4. To see the Doomsayer. Doomsayer will be so weird right now.
You attack.
And so awesome at the
You
same time.
attack your pilot shredder into a 6/4.
Yes.
Your
you get a
opponent
Doomsayer.
gets a piloted shredder. You play Ancient Allure and you draw 2 cards. You get Wrath. You Wrath your opponent's piloted shredder. They spawned off a piloted Sky Golem, and then they get Doomsayer.
Oh man, 2 minions.
All right, well there goes that dream.
Wait, that's almost lethal. It's 5 attack, it's 8.
That is definitely lethal right now. He has to heal with the Ancient Allure. And at this, once he has to heal with the Ancient Allure, now the game's over because he doesn't have any gas left. I mean, the grind has just been successfully completed by
And with
Lifecoach.
Kel'Thuzad, he can actually clear this board and get the board back, and there is no way for Druid to actually clear it. Well, now he can't kill everyone. But still, at 7 points of damage, he's nowhere near dying. I like just KT, just slam KT, 5/4 into 5/5, attack for 2, get the panda back.
Yeah, I mean, the grind has been successfully completed here.
Yep,
Coach.
a Lifecoach grinding his opponent down. What a cool way to win with Kel'Thuzad. Such a great card.
It's a really big shutout.
They should buff him to. They should buff Kel'Thuzad to 7 attack.
I don't think it's a buff.
Same as.
You're a jerk. This is like the 4th time you trolled me, and you know that I'm tired. And you know that I can't catch your subtle sarcasm.
Gotcha.
Got one.
Still, a Lifecoach on his way to advance to top 8 and Taeng on his way to elimination. Kel'Thuzad is getting dropped, reviving those pandas. The pandemonium is upon us.
Every time I look at Kel'Thuzad, like I look at that picture and it looks like he's like a Fu Manchu to me.
Oh man, he actually got a swipe. That's the only card that could save him if there will be no Kel'Thuzad on board.
It just looks like a mustache. I can't help but look at that Kel'Thuzad and see a mustache.
Mustache.
I just can't. Do you see it?
Well, not really. I think those are his eyes. Maybe he has like fake mustache. And you should never
I can't
explain a
unsee
fake
it.
mustache. Oh, he gets a keeper. He actually can survive for 1 turn, I believe. Because he silences Kel'Thuzad, then swipes the 5/4.
He can kill Kel'Thuzad here, by the way.
But then you're dead.
No, you're not dead.
Oh, you're not dead because it's 5. Oh wow, actually it's good.
Excess mana, that's a bug, by the way. That excess mana is not in his hand, that's been spent.
He cleared, and
Yeah.
a True Silver Weapon is going to finish it.
Well, he's going to
Pilot
draw it
Shredder.
first. It's going to be Pilot
Master
Shredder.
for battle.
Master for battle. Oh
He
my
needs a
gosh.
3rd swipe.
He needs an Ancient of War is what he needs. That wouldn't even work. Ancient of War, he's got a quality. Lifecoach has got everything, man. What does he need? He needs Alex Straza himself.
Lifecoach is prepared.
Yeah, Shane Extramus isn't going to do it. All right, well, that's going to be it. Lifecoach is going to take this series 3 games to 2. What a grindy game.
I have
This
to
is
give it
good.
to Taeng, man. Like, Taeng played really well. He got Lifecoach on the rope. Well, Lifecoach got himself on the rope, like, every turn. But then Taeng really got Lifecoach to this tight spot, the 5th game. So Lifecoach is going to advance to the top 8 and join the rest of our great players. Shout out to Taeng. Well played, but unfortunately he has to.
Yeah, man, really great stuff here from Lifecoach. Again, showcasing just how strong of a deck builder he is and understanding of his matchups. You know, playing decks that are pretty unconventional, I think, in terms of general conquest strategy right now, but really getting the job done, again, just with his understanding and very, very strong play throughout the entire course of the game. You know, the games where he has to play cards inefficiently in order to get to the later stages of the game where he can finally play these big mana cards that are carrying him through so many games, that's something that's hard to do for a lot of players. Like, it's difficult to just play 3 mana 3/3s and, you know, have this mind control tech in your hand and be like, you know what, I don't need to steal a mini with this ever. I just need a 3/3 on the board to kind of fight.
He's so patient and he's so skilled with his decks. Like, we are getting tired here. And he was playing under the stress, those difficult decks with so many decisions, and he made correct decisions till the end, till the last turn when he took the series. I'm really amazed by his play and by all the games we had today. We had an amazing day.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great today so far, and we have plenty more Hearthstone to come. And so to wrap up the day for you guys, we're going to throw it over to Frodan and some of the guys at the analyst desk, and they're going to take it away for you.
Well, that wraps up the night, and the entire series finally finished. Lifecoach advances 3-2. Lothar, you looked famished, first of all, but you also looked a little bit relieved.
Yeah, both. I'm exhausted and happy that Lifecoach advanced. It was really a nail-biter. And I think Taeng could have easily win the game, the last game, the deciding game, if he would just use the Innervate Wild Growth on turn 4, I think, with Sylvanas and Wild Growth in the same turn. But he didn't opt to do it. And from that point, he just was piling his mistakes.
Sure. Let's actually talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we saw. So, Caldi, you said there was a play that specifically stuck out to you. Is it the Innervate play that you were talking about with Lothar?
Yeah, it was after the Thorishan, I suppose. You could go for you top deck and Innervate. You could go for Sylvanas, and on the board there's only a paladin sweater, so you can't really trade into it, and you can't really play a minion onto the board. You get a Wild Growth. And that Wild Growth actually popped up like a turn 4. You could play for 1 mana on turn 5.
Yeah.
So having like 1 extra mana, all of these extra turns, it sat in the hand for 4 or 5 turns there, and like he played an Archdrake instead, and he could have played Sylvanas, Innervate, Wild Growth, which would have cost 6 mana because of the Emperor Thorishan. Then he could go for after that he can go for Archdrake and Swipe afterwards with the combo, and I mean. Sylvanas Wild Growth into Archdrake Swipe is so much stronger than I think it was Archdrake only, and then after that
he traded
it
to
was
the Shredder, and then
directly
he lost the
to
board.
Shredder.
yeah, I think it was like he went for like Shade and Hero Power the turn after or something like that, if I believe, into the Swipe. So yeah, I think it would have been devastating if we gone for that line play.
True.
Well, and then it ended up. Well, first of all, it got to this point because it was very back and forth, and there were moments where maybe Lifecoach, like he first had the Druid beat the Mage. That was really big. And then at that point, we were talking about how Lifecoach just seemed to be outplaying Taeng a lot.
Yeah, there was one mistake when Lifecoach played. Exactly this moment. He could have just ignored the Antonidas and go with face with everything. There was no point of, in my opinion, of trading for the Antonidas when every single top deck is basically winning the game anyway, right? Because if you trade, you get 5 points damage to the face. You're on 2. So Fireball, Frostbolt is lethal anyway, even if there's Antonidas on board, and you're basically guaranteed lethal. Only things that can happen and go badly for Lifecoach here is a Clockwork Gnome top deck or Mirror Entity top deck. And I'm not sure if there's even a Mirror Entity left.
Yeah, I think there was no Mirror Entity, but there was 1 Clockwork Gnome pay at least. So
was there a Frostbolt remaining as well?
There's no difference.
Right, but I'm just, I guess.
Yeah, you dead that anyway, I suppose.
You dead anyway to a Frostbolt, if the Antonidas lives or not.
In this situation, he would have been at 16 health there, which would have been easy lethal, I suppose. So, yeah, it would have been a huge swing. I think, though, in general in the series, most of the matchups were actually favored for Taeng, but he either had really bad draws or missed plays. So he did, of course, take 2 games, so definitely props to him for that. I mean, Lifecoach is an excellent player, one of the best in the world, and really give props to Lifecoach. I mean, he's been playing so many games, and like barely, I think it's like 99% of the plays he's played are correct, so he's been ridiculously consistent in this event.
Yeah, also, and when he plays every single game, it's like pushing himself to the limits. So playing so much intense games has to be, punishing him his stamina, right? Stamina.
Maybe from poker, I guess, because those quite long hours and grueling, grinding through that, I guess, in professional poker.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, he made it, and he did eliminate Taeng, which means he goes in 2nd place in the group. A long time ago, earlier today, I once was told that in history, Rain had won this group, but I don't know, man. Maybe my grandfathers can tell me about that story, because it was a really long time ago.
Well, once he won the tournament, Battle of the best.
Oh, well, that's even more interesting. Thank you so much for exploring that historical path too, Lothar. Let's take a look at the groups and talk a little bit about what happened today. In Group A, we had Firebat advance through the winner's bracket to start off today. He had a match against Zozas. In 2nd place, Zozas didn't manage to advance over Kroba. and was able to get second place, even though one player was not able to show up for his tournament.
It was the other way around.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Kroba
Kroba
was
did
able
take
to
the last
advance.
one, yeah.
Right.
But
Sorry about that.
definitely an upset there in Group A. So Kroba and Firebird will be playing tomorrow in the round of 8.
But they're not playing against each other because they advanced
No,
from
Yeah.
the same
you have
group,
to
right?
play another
Yep.
first or second place seed. We'll look at the bracket too before we go out today. Let's take a look at Group B. You can see that Faramir did end up losing to Airbrush in the final match of the day, which means that Airbrushed and RDU will be going through in the top 2.
And RDU has to be feeling lucky today.
Feeling really good, feeling good. And Group C, you just saw Lifecoach manage to squeak out past Taeng to go into the second place. Reynad, of course, taking that first place spot, which people, they always say that, you shouldn't underestimate a guy like Reynad, but then when he comes out 2-0 and advances from this group,
You know
well
what?
done.
You know what? Reynad was always playing some really questionable decks in the past.
In the past, but this
And
time around he brought
This
good
time
decks.
he brought solid decks, Face Hunter, Freeze Mage, and what was the third?
Zoo.
Zoo.
yeah.
And he actually won 2 games. I mean, 2 matches.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes away a little bit of the gimmicks, trying to do something really unique. No aggro rogue, for example, with Cold Bloods and
The Dancing Swords.
yeah. Dancing Swords, that's right.
Yeah.
By the way, one thing I want to say about Airbrush to qualify it also, he's on Team Darkstar with players like Orange and Freaka that have been doing insanely well recently and quite a dominant player. I remember him from early beta and he's been doing well ever since. He hasn't been, I guess, performing as frequently recently. He's not been in a lot of tournaments, but definitely a guy to look out for tomorrow.
All right, well, in Group D, we had also a 3-man group where Powder was able to advance in first place over Orange, and then Dutch Boy did also get that second place spot. So well done overall to these guys who are able to advance top 2 in their group, which means our top 8 is going to be a pretty good one, in my opinion. We're going to have a bunch of the first seeds match up against the second seed. You saw that Firebat and Reynad were on the same side of the group. Oh, let's take a look at the actual
This looks
recap.
brutal.
Yeah,
Those marks over the nicknames, those look really brutal.
yeah. Too bad, too bad. I mean, we have 14 players and 6 were eliminated today.
It's interesting that, look at this.
Yeah.
Faramir being crushed by the competition, Orange too. It's like two people that were actually favored to go out of the groups, right?
I think Soldiers would be a third player there. Not a lot of people are expecting Kroba to go through, but he's been, proving them wrong.
Yeah, well, that warrior deck, I would say
interesting,
it's trash. But
But apparently it's working, yeah.
we'll have to see in the top 8, right? Because
think,
they
looking at
they
the
use the
Grim,
same decks.
looking at the Grim Patron Warrior, every pro player I talked to initially thought it was trash, but then 10 games in, it's it's
Well, the
pretty good.
Grim Patron is
it's not so bad.
underestimated so much.
Right.
I really love the card.
Yeah.
It's a good deck, man. I was telling your teammate Tyson, he ended up winning a game with it later on. So maybe you can explore a little bit more for the Nyland boys. Well, guys, that's been a really fun day so far. Let's take a look at the bracket to finish out the day to see what we can expect for mañana. We have Firebat versus Airbrushed to start off the top end of the bracket. Then we have Reynad versus IB Dutch Boy. LB Dutch Boy, apologies. Then we have RDU versus Kroba, and then Powder versus Lifecoach. That bottom half of the bracket looks pretty crazy to me. Although realistically, it's just a good mixture of players. A lot of them have been invited, a few of them have qualifiers, but I think overall it's a good mixture of, I haven't heard of these guys yet, and as well as the guys who've been around for a while.
That's true. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's 5 invites and then 3 qualified players making it through. I think the match to watch here would be Airbird versus Firebat. I think that'll be an excellent one coming up, probably the first match.
I think Powder versus Lifecoach will be amazing too.
Yeah,
I
that
think
one as
so.
well, yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So I think tomorrow we're going to be starting around the same